Hey, this is Alan with GameLark Remixes, and I'm joined by Carlos, aka Insaneintherainmusic. Why don't you say hello, Carlos?
Hey, Alan, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So, let's get started. How did you first get into making music or playing music?
So, making music for me started around when I was age 7 in about grade 2. I started by teaching myself piano. We got a piano in our house, and I had some sheet music books in the piano bench that came with the piano, and I taught myself how to read notes and treble clef and bass clef, things like that. That continued until about 5th grade when I joined the school band and I played clarinet. It was not a very good band, but it was my first exposure to a woodwind instrument. Then I ended up going through some different saxophones. I went from alto to baritone, and then at the beginning of my freshman year in high school, I settled on tenor. And right now I'm going to be a senior in high school next year, so I've been playing tenor for about 3 years, but collectively music about 10 years now.
Okay, awesome. So, just a quick question. For those of us that don't know much about saxophones, what's the difference between those three?
Oh, so those are 3 of the main 4 saxophones. The main ones are soprano, alto, tenor, and baritone. They go in descending order of size and pitch. So soprano is the highest pitched and the smallest, while baritone is the biggest and the lowest pitched. Tenor is like lower medium, and alto is about upper medium.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And what about video game music? When did you start? Did you start uploading covers directly to YouTube, or had you been doing remixes before that?
Actually, this in addition to like my YouTube history, I remember back in middle school, during lunchtime, I would go to the school library and I found a website called, I think it's VG where I learned what a MIDI file was. And the school had notation programs on their computers. And so I figured out that I could open up these MIDI files and notation and see what the music notes being played behind like in actual video game songs were, and I thought that was really cool at the time. That progressed to my YouTube. Before my Insane in the Rain music channel, I had one called Insane in the Rain CE, which my initials, Carlosini. On that one, I used to upload Minecraft Blender 3D animation tutorials, which sounds incredibly nerdy, and it was incredibly nerdy, and I regret making those. I don't know if they exist anymore, actually. But in addition to that, I started uploading some musical cover videos from influences like people such as X Classical Cat X, Miklachu, I think Swiggles 1987 was around at that time. But I made covers there. Then eventually I realized people weren't really interested in that stuff, so I decided to start an entirely new YouTube channel, which was under the name Insaneintherainmusic, and I've had that ever since the beginning of my freshman year in high school.
Awesome. And when you started, were there a lot of people doing jazz covers, or were you the only one that you were aware of?
At the beginning, I was a very isolated sort of person. I hadn't met many YouTube friends apart from making a happy birthday thing for Miklachu, which I guess started this whole crazy roller coaster of meeting people. So yeah, I was pretty much the only jazz person that I knew about at the time. Over time, people have popped up, sort of like the consoles, Father Figure, Normal Activity is amazing. I think it's Yama Yama and Happy Funtime Game Band. They all do sort of jazz/fusion covers. Oh, and Missing No, I think. Missing No and Super Soul Bros. Yeah, there's a lot of people that do it. Now that I think about it. At the beginning, though, I wasn't really doing jazz. It took me a while to experiment and figure out what my own voice was, I guess, in the community. And I don't know why I did, but I started trying to do game music with jazz style behind it, and it turned out pretty good.
And people liked it, and they responded to it?
Judging by my channel right now, I'd say so.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so you started working on just more or less piano. Oh, the first one was a piano cover, wasn't it? Angry Aztec was your very first video that you put up?
I think, yeah, that was definitely my first video.
And then you progressed to jazz. And
somehow.
And then you started something called the Summer of Covers. I want to talk a little bit about that. The Summer of Covers, could you explain what that was?
The Summer of Covers was a dark period in the deep, dark history of my channel. If you dust over my old videos, you'll find a sequence of videos that goes from about like the middle of June one year to the very beginning of September. That was in between, I think it was 2013. During that event, I was raising $1,000 for a Child's Play charity through donations people could make on my videos, and over that period of time, I was releasing one cover video every day, which sounds crazy.
That sounds insane.
In the rain, but
sorry. Oh, man.
But the covers, looking back at them now, were not very good at all. A lot of them were very quickly put together, and you can kind of tell. There are a couple that still stand out. Some of my favorites are Sticker Brush Symphony, a Mario Kart / Rainbow Road thing I did. But doing that much videos really helped. That many videos, sorry, really helped me like discover what I wanted to do and what I enjoyed doing the most. It helped me realize that I had been doing a lot of piano covers in the past, and piano covers just weren't really, while they're still good, it wasn't really what I wanted to do. I started incorporating saxophone a lot more and just being a lot more like deviating from the original song with my arrangements, and that's how I got to where I am today.
Awesome. So it kind of helped you evolve a little bit and find your sound even more.
Yeah.
Plus, there's always the fact that, you know, that to me is just mind-blowing, because most people are like, you know, most YouTubers, when they take on a challenge, it's once a week. And I know it's the summertime, but even still, doing one cover a day is, and you know, it's incredibly difficult, I would imagine. But YouTube to me,
I didn't miss a day. I did it for that long.
YouTube to me, I mean, it's not only about the quality of the music, because it's about the ability to produce quality music pretty quickly. You know, so that's just nuts. But so describe a process of Multiplayer 1, the first Multiplayer album. I'm just kind of curious, because I do have a follow-up question about Multiplayer 2 later on.
All right, so Multiplayer 1 was a pretty crazy idea when we first came up with it. I remember being at talking with David Russell and Swiggles 1987, who were the first people to really come up with the idea. They were first brainstorming like how to organize tracks, and then we got each of the 26 musicians that would be doing a track got assigned a random letter, right? And I got the letter P, and so I figured I might as well do, you know, I thought about Pallet Town, and then through like some, I don't really remember how it happened, but I ended up talking with Mark Papagan, who does French horn hat tracks, or Matt, who does bass, and Everett, whose name is a Chico drum on YouTube, and he does drums, and we did a just really cool cover of Pallet Town. That's still one of my favorites to this day. The whole process of recording, I don't remember if it was 1 or 2 months. I think it was 1. We did everything during June. It's either June or July. I don't really remember.
Awesome. And that obviously had some were you collaborating a lot before that, or?
Yeah, I was doing some here and there. I had done 1 or 2 with Swiggles before, 1 with Terrace Music, 1 with X Classical Cat X, and some other people. But nothing, I don't think I had done anything that was that intense or that specific, or I suppose intense is a better word.
And this is kind of a hard question, but I'm just going to ask it anyways. Could you think of any ways that the VGM community has changed since you started? I mean, you've been doing for 3 years, which doesn't seem like that long of a time, but at the same time, I feel like there's new channels popping up every day. Yeah, so I'm just kind of curious if you noticed any trends or anything that's patterns within the community.
Well, the community, I should start off by saying that this community is one of the nicest communities I've ever worked with. It's just so that nobody is mean to anybody else, and apart from the dank memes that go around everywhere. But that's not really being meme. That's not really being mean. It's more just being mean. But anyway, the community has gotten a lot more close, I would say, and that there were so many networks linking from one person to another, and that most people know who everybody else is through some collaboration or another, because collaborations are some of the best ways for other people to discover new channels from your work, because if they're a fan of you and you incorporate somebody else who does something similar to you, they'll probably end up liking them as well, which is a very basic principle that a lot of successful YouTube channels have utilized. And over time, that, along with the success of Operation 1UP, Multiplayer 1, and soon to be Multiplayer 2, will have just melded the community into one giant blob of awesome video game musician people, and I'm very happy to be one of the first people in that.
Awesome. So speaking of collabs, okay, you recently put out an album, Weebop, with Savarine. Yeah. And how did you come up with that idea? Did you guys just discuss, a couple tracks and thought it might be cool to put together,
Yeah, we had been friends for a long time before, and we had done a collab back in August of last year, City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2, and then we thought it would be kind of cool to, I wanted to make an album at the time when I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and then I thought it was a crazy idea because I had never really thought of doing a collaborative album before, but I talked to Sav about it, and then she was pretty much down with it, so I wrote most of the arrangements, and she brought her vocals to it, and she's not like a professionally trained singer, but I think that almost adds to like the quality of the album because it's not professional, but it's kind of like a private concert or something like that.
It's personal.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was for me too when I made it, just because like vocals add a lot of depth to a song when you put in words.
Mm-hmm.
It changes the song in a way.
I was also going to say there's a longer interview with the two of you, or you guys are, I guess, answering questions, and I'll post a link to that as well. So if anyone wants to check that out. But I was going to say... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
There's a little bit where I teach you how to do my hair in there, so...
Floofiness?
If you enjoyed the floofiness that you see right here, then you can check that tutorial out and attempt it.
Teach me how to floofy? But I was going to say, unfortunately, my favorite track that you guys did around that time, KK Bossa, wasn't able to be on the album. So... I would encourage everybody that just listened to that album but didn't know that track was there, go listen to it. But
yeah, it's
anyways.
it's spiritually, it's a part of the album. It was all because of Nintendo's terrible like musical copyright policy, which is just screwing so many people over. And it was really difficult when we were doing multiplayer too, because all the songs had to be either not be on Nintendo, and if they were by Nintendo, which a large population of the popular game music is, then it had to be like pre-cleared by some of us, which was just a pain to get done.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't help that Nintendo has some of the best and most memorable music, and they're like, no, you can't cover it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they want to
keep
their precious music now. That's fine. So I had a couple other questions. One being, do you have a couple covers that are your favorite that you would say maybe were like milestones for you that really taught you something or that you're really proud of?
At this point, let me think. Well, there are several different periods that my channel went through, I think. And I have a couple favorites, or like maybe one or two from each of them. I will not go back past the Summer of Covers, although from the Summer of Covers, one of my favorites was the Super Mario Brothers main theme arrangement I did, which was one of the first true jazz arrangements I did, which was pretty good. I'm assuming you'll put a link to that somewhere right now.
I will.
Then my second period, so to say, goes from the Summer of Covers to roughly the beginning of my third year of YouTube, where I was sort of developing my like jazz arranging style, and from that, Sticker Brush Symphony, along with the Family Jewel 7X medley, are two of the my favorite tracks that I've ever made, and I still listen to them this day, and there's some of the few covers I can listen back to and not just go, oh my god, why did you make this? It's so bad.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then following that, year 3 is just filled with things that I am so proud of doing. I can't believe how great of a year it's been for me, just being able to put out so much good stuff, like Dolphin, Shoals, the Link's Awakening medley, Mount Coronet, which I just put up. What other songs did I do? The whole Weebop album, even Back to Your Little Roots, that happened in year 3. It was. Yeah. It's just been crazy, and I can't imagine year 4. Like, oh my god.
Actually, Dolphin Shoals was the first cover I've heard of yours, or that I heard of yours, and that was I was instantly stolen on your channel. I didn't even know that jazz VGM covers existed, and I mean, I was so excited for Mario Kart 8 that I listened to the entire soundtrack that may have gotten leaked a month before, like over and over and over again. So by the time the game came out, I already knew every soundtrack from it, and I think Nintendo has really been strong with their recent soundtracks, like Super Mario 3D World and Mario Kart 8.
It's been great. Like, especially if you look at Mario Kart 8, Super Mario 3D World, and then you look at that, and then you put Splatoon next to it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Splatoon is so different from everything else, but yet they still managed to nail it.
They just need to put out do they have a Splatoon album out? I know they have Super Mario 3D World.
I don't think so yet. I don't think they have
we'll
one
have to
yet.
wait on that. But that's awesome. So I just wanted to say that for Multiplayer 2, your track was literally my favorite. Dire Docks is, one of my favorite tracks of all time. Super Mario 64 was my first console game that I ever owned, and I played that game for months and months and months, and that track has always stuck with me for, I don't want to say how old I am, but a while. So what you did with it, the way you reimagined it, and having dozen different people help you, wasn't it? A dozen people?
12 or 13. I lose track sometimes.
You lose track. Describe that process. Controlled chaos?
Boy. Actually, it wasn't that bad, surprisingly. Usually when I do collaborations, or I've been meaning to lately, I've been meaning to include like more creative decisions on the part of the artists when they get involved in a collaboration, because I think that's fair, you know. I respect their abilities as an artist to come up with things that will help my arrangements. But in this case, I decided that I wanted to make a very specific structure of how exactly I wanted it, so that there was very little chance of anybody just messing something up. So I had been working on this since about mid-May, and I wrote the arrangement, which is about a 50-page score of all the different parts, and it's really cool to just watch the music along, like the sheet music along with the audio playing.
So yeah, that sheet music is quite a lot to look at.
Yeah, it's just I spent so much time writing that and making sure people could read their parts well, and then I had to just like distribute parts, get them out to people, and then tell people deadlines when we had to get stuff done. And fortunately, we didn't have anybody that was like, I can't record this by the set deadline. And then I mixed everything, and then it came out pretty well.
I would say so. And the thing that's impressive is you take the motif and you put it through so many different blends of genres, you know? Like the song has a natural flow, and it just goes all over not all over the place, but there's this musical journey that happens within a 6.5 minute song.
I think it's 6.5. It might be 7.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 6.5 minute song, and it's this huge musical journey, and it's a perfect way to close the album, in my opinion. So, congratulations to you and to everyone that worked on it. That's why Squiggles put it at
the end. Yeah.
So, no problem. Final couple questions for you, just quick fire, guys. Do you have a favorite instrument?
Tenor saxophone.
Tenor saxophone. Do you have a favorite game?
I have to go with Pokemon Emerald for the Gen 3, just because I spent so much time on that when I was a kid, and it's the ORAS remakes are like on a close second for me. Pokemon is my unproclaimed like claim to fame on my channel, I guess you could say.
You do have a lot of Pokemon covers.
Yeah, I do. I just love the music from it, and it's stuck with me for so long that it's very easy for me to cover, and it's I'm always able to come up with some pretty cool arrangements of that kind of music.
What's your favorite part of doing YouTube?
Ooh, wow, that's a
quick question,
difficult.
quick answer. You gotta do it.
I can't do it. It's not that quick of an answer. There's so much involved. People don't realize it. Like from choosing a song to arranging the song to programming the drums in the song to recording the individual parts in the song to recording the video of the song, getting the lighting right, editing the video and sending it to your friends and publishing it everywhere. There's just so much, and it's so fun to do. I honestly love the whole process, except programming drums. That's just tedious. But everything else. Is that your
least favorite part? That was my next question.
Yeah, that is my least favorite part, because it's not really, you get to be creative to some extent, but it's very tedious of just clicking things over and over again. I wish I could play real drums along with my covers, but it's just not going to happen.
Got you. This is going to be a tough one. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. Do you have a favorite VGM channel besides your own? Somebody that either new or old that you really like. Do it.
No.
I'm putting you on the hot seat.
Oh my god. I have to do top 3.
Okay.
I'll do top 3. Tied for third. Ace Waters and Rashad EV. They're both like, they're very similar, but I put them like, they're just amazing at what they do. Like my top 3 is like very, very high on like the top 3 things I like. Who else? My gosh. Normal Activity, I think I mentioned them earlier, is a jazz fusion just like group, which is so amazing to listen to. They do what I do, but they take it up another level, and they do it with real people. It kind of makes me want to quit YouTube sometimes, but I just keep on working on my own stuff and try to get to their level. Number 1. I have to give it to Super Soul Bros. Super Soul Bros is a live VGM fusion jazz band, along with Normal Activity, that I haven't seen them perform live, but I've seen what they do live, and it's just so like fun to listen to, and it's so amazing. It's I wish like if I could put all of them up in first place, I would, because they're all so good. But
that was good answers, and I put you on the spot, so congrats on that. So, could you describe some of your future plans? You're still in high school. You said you're going to senior year, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, Well, I'm guessing you're going to some college going to college for some kind of music program, I would hope.
Yeah. I think it would be crazy if I did anything else besides music, because I couldn't imagine myself sitting in an office and just doing math all day. I just love doing music as my hobby, and also right now it's almost kind of like my sustain thing. Like, I don't have like a summer job or anything. This is what I do all summer. I stay in my room and make music. So like, to keep that going in the future, I'll probably go into audio engineering, which is just like the profession of recording people and like mixing people and mastering people and mastering music and things like that. I've been looking at several colleges, including the Berklee College of Music. I've looked at Full Sail a little bit, but I don't think I really want to go there. And for like jazz schools, I've considered doing jazz performance as well. Some schools in New York too, like the New School and the Juilliard School of Music. But Juilliard is too hard to get into for someone like me, so I don't think.
Don't say that. You never know.
Who knows?
Do you think you'll continue doing YouTube and specifically video game covers, or do you strive to work on original stuff?
Yeah, I want to do that. My dream is to have have a Family Jewel 7X 3-year streak of weekly videos on my channel, because my God, that was amazing for him to do, and I want to challenge myself and see if I can keep up weekly videos and just eventually like naturally grow myself into something that's like as big as Family Jewels is. He's a really big inspiration to me, not just for his music, but just for his like work ethic and getting things done, and how that's happened, like how that's helped him meet so many people and to become such a well-recognized person in the community.
Awesome. And can you talk about a few covers that you have that are upcoming?
Yeah, so on my phone, on my Google Keep app, I keep a list of songs that I'm interested in doing. So I'll read off a couple that won't give too much away. I'm looking at the Turnabout Sisters theme from Phoenix Wright. Most people haven't played that game, but it's a very, very great theme. For something that's more recognizable, I was thinking of Gar Plains from Xenoblade Chronicles. That's featured very heavily in the Gar Plains stage in Smash 4. What else? I was thinking of Violet City from the Pokemon Gold, Silver, Crystal games. I've wanted to do a Cave Story medley and a Chrono Trigger medley for the longest time now, and they're probably going to be like, knowing me, it'll be like a 15-minute long medley of all my favorite songs in the game. It'll just be, I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but I'll find some time and I'll do it.
Great. Finally, I just wanted to mention for all you guys that are watching this, Insaneintherainmusic put up a Patreon page a couple months ago, so go ahead and check that out. And if you enjoy his music, consider supporting him. I know a lot of artists have taken to Patreon as a way for their fans to support them. He's got some great incentives or perks or rewards or however you want to call it, and consider checking that out and supporting him. So thank you, Carlos, for talking with me.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.
My audio wasn't recording. Oh no, it's recording.